What's going on, my YouTube family? Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the wood shop here. I'm that wood guy, and thank you for all the new faces who have joined the channel. Guys, thank you so much for all the support in the wood shop tour video. And if you're new here now and you haven't seen that video, make sure you go back and check that out if you're interested. I take a tour of the shop. And in this video here, I wanted to quick explain maybe a few things that I had missed in my wood shop tour video, and how, this really isn't a huge wood shop, but how a small wood shop has such big capabilities, and I'm going to explain why right now. And again, if you guys didn't see that wood shop tour video, make sure you dive back a couple videos before and check that out. I go through and kind of explain things in much more detail. I'd like to keep this video a little more short and show you guys how such a small wood shop has such big capabilities, and having large equipment, I'm able to utilize it. Okay, so real quick, starting at the bandsaw, because most of my material starts in the flow of the workshop through my big bandsaw, and that is because if I'm starting with a rough cut material, I'm either ripping it to width and or figuring out what I'm doing from this point on out, and it starts at the big bandsaw. I wanted to share with you guys how I can feed 8-foot material through this whole shop. So starting at the big bandsaw here, I have plenty of room on my infeed here. I've also designed the milling machine table to be able to be raised and lowered without any interference, but as a benefit to be lowered to the same level as my big bandsaw table for some infeed support if I'm trying to feed in something heavy. And coming down, ripping through the bandsaw, we have plenty of support for it and plenty of outfeed. As you guys can see here, the 8-foot board clears with no problem. And over to the joiner as well, I'm able to have the infeed and outfeed length to feed a 8-foot piece of stock right through the joiner with no issues whatsoever. I have plenty of clearance on the infeed and the outfeed. And if I didn't already do in the first place, I'm able to go to the miter saws now, which I have plenty of length on either side to cut the stock to length. And these miter saw station is on wheels, so I can roll this in and out both directions to give me even more right or left length and capacity. Coming over to the router table, like I was explaining earlier, I can slide the miter saw station down out of my way to be able to get an 8-foot board in with no problem. And then I have plenty of outfeed to be able to run the stock right through the router. Okay, in the planer you guys can see here, I have an angle, and that gives me even more than 8 feet to be able to feed stock through this beast. So plenty of infeed, plenty of outfeed to be able to feed the 8-foot, and if I need even longer than 8 feet, I have it as well. I believe the exact measurement is actually around 14 to 15 feet that I can get in and out of the planer with no problem. The table saw, same thing. I just fit. I'm able to get 8 foot in and 8 foot out, no problem. I wish I had a little more room, but you got to make do with what you have. The only real tool I can't get 8 foot in is my little bandsaw, which I really don't need a reason to have to get in 8 feet in through this machine, so it's always worked out. So I wanted to quick share, guys, how, just taking a little time and engineering and the layout of your tooling is a huge, huge thing. And I also want to stress how having almost the perfect distance in between your tools, if you're walking 50 feet from your joiner all the way to your table saw, that gets exhausting over a 10-hour day. Find that happy medium where it's perfect. Now, I wish I had a little more room in between certain spots where, I'm trying to maybe move a larger stock and or a piece of furniture somewhere. But having the ideal amount of space is really important for, reducing the amount of fatigue in your day through having, like I said, to run from one end to the other in a large shop. My dad used to work in a really, really long tool and die shop, and he used to complain how he would, if he had needed a tool that was on one end of the shop and he had to go walk for it, and on a course of a 10-hour day, that can be extremely fatiguing, having to walk to one end of a 120-foot long building and then back to your workstation. And then he worked in another shop that was like a square, and it was perfectly outfitted with the tools getting closer as you got to the center. in the workflow of it was just absolutely remarkable. So take the time, think of how you build your shop, and you're going to be moving things around multiple times. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I got a lot more coming and a lot more to display for you guys, shop projects and or pieces of furniture that I have in the making. So I'm excited to share it with you guys. Thank you so much for the support. Be good, be kind to each other, stick together, my friends, and we're going to catch you guys on the next one. See you later, everybody.